everyone. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning po.
Morning.
If you are there, kindly click the heart emoji po. Ayan, okay. So,
clap na lang ako, Ma'am Ling. Wala akong heart.
okay. So, good morning and welcome to our webinar today on optimizing online teaching through Google Classroom. So, to start this session, we shall start with a prayer. So, please do sit comfortably and feel the presence of the Almighty Father. So, you may do the sign of your faith po. For the Catholics, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Ever-loving and merciful Father, we thank you for all the blessings you bestowed upon each one of us. We thank you for allowing us to meet virtually today and gain meaningful learning experiences from this webinar. May you extend your divine wisdom to our speaker so that he may be able to impart effectively his God-given knowledge to our participants. And bless also our participants so that they may be able to glean all the vital information from this session. Guide us after this webinar so that we may go out and share what we learned in the spirit of your love and generosity and in the greater glory of your name. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Magandang umaga po ulit sa ating lahat. Buenos dias, maayong buntag, good morning. Ayan, and we also have a participant, I think, from Thailand. Ayan, good morning po. Okay, so welcome once again to our webinar this morning. I am Leah Mata and I will be your facilitator today. And here are a few reminders before we begin this session. Number one, kindly turn on your video cameras if possible, if you have a strong internet connection. And second, please mute your microphone except when you are called to share your insights. Ayan. So let us have a quick kumustahan before I introduce our speaker this morning. So I will be mentioning in this kamustahan, we will be using the emojis here on Zoom. So if you don't have, or if your emojis are not complete, kindly type in na lang your response through our chat box. So I will be mentioning random words. And when you love that word, or when you love that word, kindly click the heart emoji. When it is okay lang, not so much love, and you do not also dislike, kindly click the like emoji. And when you do not certainly like or even love the word, click the laughing emoji. Okay, so we will use 3 emojis po: heart, like, and haha emoji. Now, if you don't have those emojis, kindly type in the chat box. So, are you ready? If you are, kindly click the clap emoji sa ating emoji button. Ayan. So, everyone is all ready. Ayan. Okay. So, the first word is, of course, free webinars. Love, like, or dislike? Free webinars. Who doesn't like free webinars? Heart for Ma'am Aurora. Ayan. How about for the others? Siguro nagkakape on the side. Umigo pa. Wait lang, ma'am. Okay. So, heart for almost all of us. Second word, coffee. Siguro, ayan. Coffee, love for Ma'am Ivy, like for Ma'am Jeanette. Baka may acid reflux ang ating iba, kaya hindi masyadong mahilig sa kape. Okay, so heart and like. Wala namang nag-dislike. Next word, Mondays. Who loves, likes, or dislikes Mondays here? Okay, Ma'am Genevieve likes, love Mondays. Ma'am Michelle, Ma'am Elisa. Meron ding haha. Ayan. Ako, I'm torn between love and dislike. Meron ding like lang. Okay. So, next third, YouTube. Who here loves YouTube? As a pastime, or where we also watch our resource materials. Ayan. Heart and like. Like for Heart pala kay Ma'am Aurora. Yan. Okay. So, last one is online learning. Who loves, likes, or dislikes online learning here? Yan. I see heart. I see like from two. Like, okay. So most of us likes online learning. And in online learning, we have a lot of things to learn and to explore. And one of which is this topic on this webinar. So Google Classroom. So I think we are very much ready and all hyped up for this session. So now allow me to introduce our speaker this morning. He is a Google for Education certified trainer from Zamboanga City who graduated with a degree in Bachelor in Science in Information Technology from Ateneo de Zamboanga, and he also earned his master's degree in Computer Graphics and Animation from Ateneo de Naga University. He has been teaching for more than 13 years, including 1 year in one of the high schools here in Zamboanga City. Currently, he is a faculty of the Computer Science Department of the College of Science and Information Technology here in Ateneo de Zamboanga University. He loves topics related to graphic design, animation, multimedia, and educational tools. And when he is not busy, he loves to watch Netflix. Who doesn't love to watch Netflix with his wife, ayan, and produce YouTube content for his YouTube channel, the EdTech Explorer. Ladies and gentlemen, the EdTech Explorer himself, Mr. Romeo A. Rabahante Jr. Let us give him a virtual round of applause, please.
Thank you, Ma'am Leia, for that introduction, and welcome to our webinar this morning. And I hope you are all ready, no, and very energized to learn new things this morning. And okay, so but before anything else, may I know from your, I mean your where are you right now? No, please type in our chat box the country or your current location, country in particular, uh, in our chat box. Yeah, can you type your country or your location in our chat box so that I'll know what language I should be using. Should I use English, French, Chavacano, or Tagalog? And okay, wow, we have participants from Vietnam, Ma'am Leia, even in Thailand.
Yes, sir. So I think, wow, challenge ang ating English speaking skills this morning.
I know, right? So I really have to speak in English right now. So most probably I have to practice. I have to uh, get all my English words ready, so so that everyone can understand. And okay, sige. Thank you very much for your responses. All right. Okay, so let me just share my screen this morning. Let me share my screen. Um, okay, all right. Ma'am Leia, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. It's
All right.
reflecting already.
Okay, sick. All right. For those who just in case, no, just in case that I'll be uh, saying words in Tagalog or something that you cannot understand, just let me know so that Ma'am Leia, please remind me to speak in English just in case I forget it. Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So, uh, welcome again. Welcome to our webinar. This is the first uh, free webinar series, no, in collaboration with the School of Education and the EdTech Explorer. Ayan. So welcome to the Optimizing Online Teaching through Google Classroom. So let's just have some expectation check. All right. So first is everything that I'll be sharing today is based on experience. All right. So this is how I utilize the Google Classroom. This is how I utilize the Google Forms. And probably some of the techniques that I'll be sharing this morning, you might probably you know it already, or probably this is something new today. Okay, so this is just based on an experience. And aside from that, let's be an empty cup this morning. Okay, So like I said, probably the things that I'll be sharing, you already know that. But at the same time, please take note that I am not also an expert in Google Classroom or Google Forms. No, I'm also since Google for Education tools are keep on updating. No, so there's always something new to learn about it. So if you know something about the application, please do share also in the chat box, no, your experience, so that we can also uh, what's this? We can also learn from you. So this is a learning environment. This is a place for us to learn new things, and of course, so that we have a better webinar experience, please do participate actively. No, from time to time, I'll be asking you to type your questions in the chat box, or whenever I ask some questions, please do participate actively. And this one here, this is why the learning anchor. Whenever you see this symbol, or whenever I ask learning anchor, please type in our chat box your the things that you have learned so far based on the demo that I did. Or if you have questions, you can also type that in our chat box. Okay, so that we'll also get to learn from each other's learning experience, learning insights. No? So let's learn together this morning. All right. And for our session flow this morning, first thing we're going to have some things to know about Google Classroom. No, so before we proceed with the demo, and then after the demo, we'll have the group activity. So probably later, our Ma'am Leia will be preparing the what's this, the Google, the breakout rooms. No, later before we do the group activity. All right. So the big question now is, are you ready to learn or to proceed with our webinar this morning? If you're ready, please type ready in our chat box. All right. Okay. So, wow, we have the first Miss Jean being the first one to type in our chat box. All right. Thank you very much for your participation and for your responses. And now let's proceed with our first part of the webinar. First is things to know. Okay, in the chat box, type the letter. Okay, type the letter that you think is the correct answer. Okay, so I will be flashing some questions and then some choices, and just type the correct answers. Okay, so the first question. Okay, first question is, ayan, Google Classroom is what? Okay, Google Classroom is what? A learning management system, part of Google Workspace for Education, a platform that integrates Google Workspace tools, and Google Classroom is free. All right, so please type the letter of your, or letters of your choices. Ayan. Okay, Miss Leia, what is the pulse of our participants? What are their answers?
So we have here responses. A lot of them answered A, and also Ma'am Maureen answered A, all the letters A, B, C, D. But
Oh,
we
okay.
have dominant answers. We have mixed answers actually, sir.
Oh, mixer. Okay. All right. So let's see, Ma'am Leia, no, what is the correct answer for this question? How about you, Ma'am Leia? Do you have any guess for this one? What are you think are the correct answers here?
My answer for this would be all of the above, sir.
Oh, okay. Is that based from experience?
Yes, based on experience.
Okay, sige. So let's see. The correct answer or answers. Ayan, okay. So it's all of the above. No, all the letters are correct. So Google Classroom is a learning management system. It's one of the popular learning management system. No, there are a lot other examples of a learning management system is Moodle, Edmodo, Schoology, Neo LMS. Those are the some of the learning management that I know. But Google Classroom is one of the popular, probably because it's part of the Google Workspace, all right, which is the letter B. It's part of the Google Workspace for Education. And I think and since the pandemic started, a lot of the teachers now around the world, some of them migrated to the Google Workspace, Google Classroom, in utilizing for as their learning management system. And what's nice also about the Google Classroom is that it integrates all of the Google Workspace tools. This includes the Google Docs, the Sheets, the forms, the worksheets, no, and even the Google Drive. So it integrates all of those tools. And what's nice about this one, it's for free. All right, it's for free. Um, the the Google Workspace for Education, the first type of account is for free only. You know, it's I think it's if I'm not wrong, it's called the Google Workspace Fundamentals. No, which includes the Docs, the Google Drive, the calendar, and I think including the Google Meet, if I'm not wrong. No, but it's for free. The fundamentals is for free, but there is a package wherein you have to pay, pay accounts. All right. So if you want to know more about it, you can search about the Google Workspace packages later. Ayan. So that is Google Classroom. And now let's go for the second question. With Google Classroom, you can do what? Okay. And with Google Classroom, you can do what? Letter A, assess your learners. Letter B, provide learning materials. Letter C, add teachers and students. And letter D, add class Google Calendar and Google Drive folder. And all right, so let's see your answers. All right, Ma'am Leia, what is the dominant answers in our chat box?
Yes, sir. The first five answered all of the above.
All of the
Actually,
above.
almost all.
Almost all.
Yes,
All right.
except for we have two here who answered B and C and B only.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So let's see if we have the let's see the correct answers or answer. All right. So ayan. Okay. So all of the above again, Ma'am Leia. So with Google Classroom, we can actually assess our learners. So since it's a learning management system, we can assess the learning experience of our students. And aside from that, we can also provide them with learning materials. No, we can upload documents, our PowerPoint slides, even videos. No, we can upload in the Google Classroom. And also we can also add our colleagues and students in our Google Classroom. Of course, definitely we need to add the students, of course, because it's a LMS. And of course, this is what I like so far about the Google Classroom is that we can add Google Calendar and Google Drive folder with that. No, so just a little sharing. No, late since I started my journey in the being a Google for certified trainer for Google for education. Since I learned about Google Calendar, I've been so addicted to this one. No, so I've been utilizing this one with my events, and I find it so useful. And okay, so let's go for the next question. All right, next question. How can we access Google Classroom? And for letter A, using a web browser. Okay. Letter B, using a mobile phone. Letter C, using a tablet. And letter D, all of the above. Ayan. All right. Ma'am Leia, I think we have fast hands here, no? And I think there's a dominant answer here.
Yes, sir. I see one letter only, and they all answered letter D.
All of the above. How about you, Ma'am Leia? What do you think is the correct answer?
I think, sir, it's letter D.
D?
Gaya,
Oh,
gaya.
okay. I think it's letter A. Oh, let's see what's the correct answer. Ayan. Okay, and then the correct answer is letter D, of course. No, all of the above. Um, I'm sure all of you are very familiar with the Google Workspace tools, and we know that we can access it. What's nice about the Google Workspace tools is that it's so accessible. We can access it through our web browser using our laptop, and even with the mobile phone. Okay, with our mobile phones and our tablet, all you have to do is just to download the application, and it's good to go. No, you can really utilize it. Um, Even for our what's this for our emails, no, we just download the app and we can already utilize it in our phone, so it's very very useful. All right, so and for our last question, ayan, okay, for our last question, the usability, okay, the usability of the Google Classroom for teaching and learning will depend on the A, limitations of the tool, letter B, imagination and creativity of the teacher, letter C, students' context, and letter D, devices available. Ayan, okay. Oh, Ma'am Jean is the first one to answer, Ma'am Leia.
Yes, sir. And we have most definitely the same answers from everyone. They answered all of the above, A, B,
Correct.
C, and D.
Yes. How about you, Ma'am Leia? What do you think is the correct answer for this one?
I will go for the safest, sir. All of the above.
Safest.
Based on experience, I think it's all of the above.
All of the above. Okay. Let's see if let's see the correct answer. And the correct answer is, and everybody's correct, no? All of the above, but not limited to. All right. Just like all, just like all digital tools. All right. This is not just applicable for Google Classroom, but for all. It's limited to the limitations of the tool. Like for example, there are digital tools that you really have to be online, okay, so that you can access it. What's nice about the Google Classroom right now is that before you can only access it with um, when you are online. Right now, Google, I'm not sure if it's already implemented, but the last time I knew, they are already developing an offline version of the Google Classroom so that the students, even without the internet connection, they can still access it, do their assignments, and then when they have the access to the internet, then they can already upload their assignments. No, so as you can see, like I said earlier, the Google Workspace tools are, they keep on improving it. No, so that, so currently, definitely the usability of a digital tool or for Google Classroom is the current limitation of the tool. And of course, we are also bounded with the devices available. All right, not everyone has an access to a laptop. Not everyone has an access to a mobile phone or a tablet. Now, I think all of us have experienced that. No, the last Wednesday when we had our um, meeting with the Google educators around the world, I found out that what we experience in our city, in Zamboanga City particularly, other countries are also experiencing that. No? Especially at least in my group mates, they also experience students not having the devices, students not having even the internet connection. No? So we have the same problems with that. And of course, the student context. Um, when we say student context, it means that not all students will have the access to the internet and the devices, and not all students will, the environment, no, the learning environment of the student is not conducive for learning. In fact, probably their current situation probably can give what's this allows them to experience mental problems, no, so that, and of course, letter B is, which is I think the most important of all. uh, Google Classroom or any digital tool will depend on the imagination and creativity of the teacher. All right, so like I said, the digital tools, the Google Classroom has their own limitations, But again, if the teacher is creative and very resourceful, they can utilize this. They can utilize the digital tool for to enhance the learning experience of their students. And in fact, I think one of the good example I can say is that um, when uh, when one of our teachers, no, one of our colleagues used TikTok, no, used TikTok for student learning experience. No? So that kind of imagination and creativity of the teacher. Ayan. And now, my dear friends, it's time for our first, no, our first learning anchor, right? Based on what we have talked so far, what I have shared so far, what have you learned so far, no? Based on our discussion. So type in our chat box your learning anchor or learning insights, or if you have questions, you can also type in the chat box. All right. So 1 minute to type your answers. Ma'am Leia, how are you there?
I am good, sir.
All right. So far, ma'am, what have you learned? What have you learned so far?
Hala. I learned that Google Classroom.
Wow.
Ayan, we have response na here from in our chat box, sir.
Hmm,
Okay, so we have from Michelle.
hmm.
She learned about the functions of Google Classroom so far.
Wow.
Ayan. Sabi
So,
din ni Ma'am Maureen,
mhm.
wow, Google Classroom can be used offline soon.
Yes, Ma'am Maui. It can be utilized very, very soon.
So we are still waiting from other participants.
Yeah, probably they're still typing, So while they are typing, Ma'am Leia, there's another one. There's a new entry, Ma'am Leia.
Yes, from Ma'am Elisa. Correct me po if I am wrong ha in pronouncing your name. So she said the different functions and how we can access Google Classroom.
Wow.
Functionality and the usability of Google Classroom.
Correct, Ma'am Elisa, no. Actually, what's also like I said earlier, it's so nice with what's nice about the Google tools. Um, you can access it almost anywhere, with your mobile phone. If you have your for as long as you have the smartphone, you can do your work anywhere, no. Which is very ideal at this time. Okay.
Yeah. So, Sir Eugene also said, I have learned that Google Classroom is an incredibly useful tool for using in teaching. Initially, I thought it is just for uploading and accessing files, but I guess it is more than that.
Yeah.
Sir Ricky also said, same kay Ma'am Maureen, he is as excited as the Google Classroom offline also. And we have Sir Jun V
Mhm.
or Ma'am Jun V. Google Classroom is accessible and we can easily use it in teaching online.
Right. Thank you very much, teachers, no, for your responses. All right. So for those who did not yet type their learning anchors, you feel free to keep them coming. All right. Just keep on typing so that we can also record that, and at the same time, it can also help us, no, improve our sessions later. No, your learning anchors can also help us. What's this? Learn something from that as well. And not only that, with our other participants who are also reading your learning anchors. Ayan. So like I said, this is a learning environment, so let's learn from each other. Okay, so thank you very much po. And this time naman, uh, let's proceed with the second part of our demo of our webinar, no, which is the core, which is the demo of the Google Classroom and the Google Forms. All right. So let me just stop my sharing. So in a while, I'll be showing you the what's this the Google Classroom. Oh, sorry. Okay. So let me just share my screen. Okay. So, Ma'am Leia, can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. So, like I said, there are a lot of ways for us to access it. To access our Google Classroom, the first one is using our Google browser. All right. So, I'll be all you have to do is just open any favorite browser that you have. All right, and then you can log into your Gmail account, or if you want, you can type uh, classroom.google.com. If I'm not wrong, you can type that, or you can simply just search Google Classroom, and then just click at the upper right portion of your browser of your Gmail. We have this waffle, Google Waffle. By the way, this is called Google Waffle because it looks like waffle. Okay, so you just click this one here, and you can look for the Google Classroom. All right. So I'll be using for this demo, I will be using the my regular account in Google. Okay, so please take note that if your accounts, no, if your school is registered to a Google workspace, no, for education, you'll be what's this? You'll be enjoying some nice features, like for example, for example, no, in Google Drive, if your account is registered, you'll be enjoying I think a 1 terabyte size, no, for your Google Drive. But if you're having a regular Google account, just like what I'm showing you right now, um, you'll only enjoy for your Google Drive, you'll only enjoy around 15 gig, no? 15 gig allotted for you. That's both for the content in your Google Drive content combined with your content in your email. Okay, so that's for the regular account of Google accounts. No, um, another thing is that you have to remember that if, for example, your accounts, no, your Google account is again registered to a Google Workspace account, the people that you can okay, um, for example, your the if your accounts in Google are registered to a Google Workspace, the people that can and then you try to open a Google Classroom, okay, the only emails or people can register inside that within that classroom are those accounts within that organization's account. So for example, if we're using the ADSO account, since it's also ADSO is our school, no, Ateneo de Zamboanga University. So if we're using the ADSO account to create a Google Classroom, only email accounts that within the organization can join that particular Google Classroom. All right. But if a participant will try to join using their regular accounts or using a different Google workspace account, like for example from DepEd, they cannot join the Google Classroom account created under the ADSO account. That goes the same for DepEd accounts. No, they have created that kind of rule. I'm not sure why, but if your account belongs to a different organization, so you cannot join. No, you cannot join that particular Google Classroom. So please keep that in mind. So that is why if you're creating a Google Classroom for different participants, it would be best that you use your regular account. Okay, you use your regular Gmail account. But if you're just creating for people or learners within your organization, then you can use your Google Workspace for Education accounts. All right, so please keep that in mind. All right, so to proceed, on your screen now is the home page or the landing page of the Google Classroom. So if you have created several Google Classroom previously, you'll be seeing them in the dashboard. But if you're going to create a new Google Classroom, all you have to do is just to look for this symbol, the plus symbol. All right, so you just click that, and all you have to do is just to click create if you're going to create a Google Classroom. But if you're going to join, then all you have to do is just to click join, and you can type the class code. No, where to get the class code? I'll be sharing that to you later. All right. So going back to, let's create our Google Classroom. So all you have to do is just click the plus sign, click create class, and we have just click this one here and click continue. All right. From here, you can type all the necessary information for class name. You can type the subject. Okay, you can type the course. But of course, it depends upon you how you want it to be named. No, you can follow a format like subject, and then you want to have the section and probably the school year. So it depends upon the teacher, or it depends upon your department how you want it to be. So for this demo, I will just use this one, a demo, and then there, Google Classroom batch 1. All right, batch 01. And then for the section, um, for the section, we can for the section you can type the section that you want, no. But the required information here is the class name, no. But it's also a good practice if you fill out the what's this? If you fill up the other spaces here, no. For example, the section, the subject, and for the room. So for example, for the room, Zoom, and for the subject, I will just type demo here. And then after that, you can click create. Yeah. So let's just wait for it to be created, no? So again, it will depend on how fast your internet connection is, and it will create, no, your Google Classroom. And for here, okay, for this one here, this is the landing page after creating the Google Classroom. Right here, to look for the class code, all you have to do is just look for this banner and click this class code. This is the class code that you can what's this that you can create, no, or that you can give to your students. So if you want to join me here in the Google Classroom, I'll share the what's this? I'll share the class code in our chat box, so you can also join me in the classroom. Ayan. Okay, so for example, just in case na you cannot find the create icon in the what's this in the Google Classroom, I'll troubleshoot that later. Okay, so let's just proceed muna for the demo. All right. Okay. So for again, if you want to join me, you can type the class code. All right. So from there, you have we have four important tabs in the Google Classroom. We have the stream, the classwork, and we have the people, and we already have students here, and of course the grades. Okay. So for the stream, this is the stream is like it's like our feeds, no? It's like the things that we see in uh, the things that we upload. We can oh sorry wait for a while. Copy link there. I hope you can click that, but if you can't, you can type the what's this the class code there. Right, so you can just click the link, or you can type the class code for you to join the Google Classroom that I have here. Okay, so for the stream, again, for the stream, this is like the feeds, the news feeds for our classroom, all everything that you upload or anything that your students would like to announce, no? It's like an announcement page for the Google Classroom. So everything is posted here. So for example, I can type here, hi class, and welcome to the webinar. Okay, so you can even add, you can format this one here. All right, you can add text or link, or even you can add YouTube videos. Okay, so you can even add the URL. I'll talk more about this later. So I'll just click cancel. So that, and you can also hear the post. You can what's this? No, let me just close this for a while. For the post, you can even post it immediately. You can schedule it, and you can even save it for draft. But for this one, I'll just click post. No, I'll be discussing more about that later. So here we already have a post in our stream. So if you would like to comment here, feel free to comment. All right, just to let us know that you're here. And then the next thing I'll show to you is the people. Okay, so here, when you enter or when you click the people tab, you'll be able to see all the students that joined the your Google Classroom, and of course the teachers. No, so to add teachers or to add students, all you have to do is just to click this icon here. Click the icon, and you can even type the email. Okay, you can type the email of your of the teacher that you want to invite to be part of that. What's this? To be part of the what's this? To be part um, of the classroom. No. Uh, Again, um, so just make sure that just take note lang, no? Take note that again, to join in the classroom, make sure that you're using a regular account, no, a regular uh, Google account, so that you can join. If you're using an email that is already registered to a Google workspace, no, account, I think you cannot join the Google Classroom, no? Just like what I said earlier. So if you have a regular account, use that for this one. And then uh, for the for the students, the same thing. All you have to do is just to either to click the invite link or type the email. No, so that's how you can invite or add students. Just take note. No, it's a good thing that you experience. It's a good thing that you also experience these difficulties. No, that the you cannot join the classroom, because that's also a learning experience. No, so keep in mind, even before I learned about this, I keep on wondering, how come I cannot add or I cannot join a particular classroom using my Adzu account. So that's the reason why. If your account, a particular Google Workspace account is only exclusive within that organization. So I don't know why that's the design of the accounts. So but that's the design, no? So we cannot do anything about it. So that's, just keep in mind, if we're creating a Google Classroom for our learners within our organizations, uh, let's use the email account, the email account within our organization. But if our Google Classroom is designed for others, no, other accounts, then we must use a regular Gmail account. For me, for on my side, I am maintaining um, 4 Gmail accounts. Yeah, 4 Gmail accounts. One from Adzu, where I'm working right now. The other one is my personal email, and the other one is for the EdTech Explorer, and the other one is for finance, for another work. No, so that, okay. So that's for people. And for the grades, if you already have some assignments and you want to grade the assignments, you can click this tab. No, as of the moment, it's an empty tab because there's no assignment yet. And now let's proceed with the classwork. Okay, which is the I think the best feature or the main feature of the Google Classroom, because this is where the learning happens. So to create a to create to set up your Google Classroom, it would be best that you must have you must already have, at least for us, no, when I do this, it's important that you have your syllabus, or it's important that you already have your learning plan, no, all throughout the semester, or all throughout the synchronous and asynchronous sessions with your students. This is because so that when you set up your Google Classroom, you already know what to upload. You already know what are the different sections that you would be doing in the classroom. Okay. So for example here, for me, if I'm doing this one, I'll be starting to create with topics. Right. So um, for example, week one. Okay, and then I'll just click add there. So we have week one, and then you can just simply um, if you want to rename it, all you have to do is just to click these three dots. You have the rename, the delete, and you can copy the link, and then you can also as this to create another topic. You can do something like this again, week two, and add. So you, if you observe the latest the newest topic that you create will be on the top. All right. So if you want to move it, or if you want to rearrange the sequence of your topics, again, we can just go to the three dots, and you can click move up, so that you can move the sequence, or you can rearrange the sequence. So let me just create another one. So week three. So again, this is just an example, no? This is just an example of how you can, or how you can set up the your Google Classroom, no? At least for me, I usually do per week, because since in Ateneo we're having sessions, no, a weekly sessions for um, 7 weeks. So it's been a practice that I name it per week, no. But you can also do something like this. Aside from having it week one, you can also have it topic one, topic two, if you like, or you can also do something like this. For example, you can type the what's this? Um, you can also type something like this. The subject, no? You can type the subject, or you can type the topic, like for example, addition. All right. So you can do something like that if you want to name it specifically, or you can also do something like this. Uh, you can name it per section. Like for example, everything that you will post here is about the activities, and then everything that you post here are your learning materials. Okay, so something like that. So again, it depends upon your how you want your Google Classroom will look like. But what's important here is that your classroom should be organized. No, it should have sections wherein the students can easily understand it. All right. So, for example, upon looking at this setup currently, I can say that okay, everything, all learning materials under this topic is about addition. Okay, everything that's being posted under this topic is all about activities. For this one here, all about learning materials. And then if I'm going to create another one, and I'll say that this one here is about, I'll type the date, June 26, 2021, and I'll click add. For example here, um, this means that I'm telling the students that everything under this section is all the topics, all the learning materials that we're going to talk about during June 26, 2021. All right, so that's for the topics. So let me just, Ma'am Leia, I think we have some questions in the chat box.
Yes, sir. We have a concern from Ma'am Ivy. She
Ma'am
said
Ivy.
that from a student's point of view, we can't see that yet, daw po, because she has her browser open with your Google Class, but it is still empty. I don't see yet the week.
Oh, did you try, ma'am, refreshing the browser?
Yes, sir, several times. Baka
Oh,
ang account ko,
okay, wait,
it's
ma'am.
it's it's still blank.
Or I
Which is
think, sir, it's because there po sa classwork, it says students can only see topics with
Okay,
published
yes.
posts.
With public posts, yeah. Yeah, so probably when I will already start posting here, Ma'am Ivy can already see the topics, no? Sige, ma'am. So let me proceed now so that we can check if we can check if my theory is right. Okay, so let's see. What Ma'am Leah said is right. No? So let's see. Let's try to add materials first. Okay, so let's click materials. So from here, we can click create and then material so that we can add learning materials from, we can add learning materials for our Google Classroom. So for example here, let me just type graphic design. Okay, graphic design video. This is just an example. And then you can add a description, although it's just optional, but you can type a little description about the what's this description about the video, no, or probably the learning objectives. All right, learning objectives of the students when they watch this video, no, or probably things to check. No, you can type that as part of the description of your video, and from there you can click add. You can click or you can link a video. You can add a link, no, or a file or a YouTube. So let me just add a YouTube video here. So what's nice about the Google Classroom is that again it integrates our Google Workspace tools. For this one here, we have YouTube. You have two options to add videos from YouTube. You can type the URL of the YouTube channel or of the YouTube video that you want to upload or to paste here, or you can search within this one here. So let me just type graphic design. Okay, graphic design. And all videos related to graphic design will be displayed here in the video search. Now, please take note that not all videos are suitable to the learning outcome that we are expecting from our students, no, or to the things that we want our students to learn. So that is why it is very important that before you upload a video from YouTube, you have to make sure that that video will is appropriate to the learning outcome or the intended learning outcome of your student. Okay, so again, when choosing a video, make sure that that video is appropriate for your students, no, and it will hit the intended learning outcome. Okay, so for example, this is the right video that I want to use. So I will just click that and click add. So from here, it's already added here, and for this one here, um, you can add topic. Now you can assign this one here. So I will assign this one for June 26th. All right. Just for example, that it's assigned for topic for June 26th. And then for the post, you can immediately post it. Click post if you want to post it already or schedule it. And you can even save it for draft. Now, just take note that once, no, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's still the same, but based on experience, once you have posted it already, it's difficult. It's You can no longer update it. No, you can no longer update the content. So you have to make sure that whenever you post the your learning materials, you are already sure with the content. Okay, so you have to make sure that when you post, the content is already final. Else you have to start. Else you have to delete it, and then you have to do it again. Again, at least that's for my experience, no. So that. So let me just post it immediately, and this time there you have the graphic design video in our June 26th topic. Kindly type yes if you can already check this video in our Google Classroom. Okay, so if you can already see it, all right. Thank you very much. And so, yan. So, tama nga si Ma'am Leia, no? So once the students, once the teacher posts a public a public uh, learning materials, no? We the students can already start looking or viewing the different topics. Yeah. Thank you, Ma'am Leia, for that, no? And then this time naman, so that's how we can add learning material, no? That's through video. Now this time, let's try about other material naman. Okay. So here, document learning material. By the way, teachers, no, this is just the naming convention that I'm using right now is just for the demo. Definitely, I'm sure you also have your own style of naming your materials. Like, for example, probably some of you are using AC01 for activities or LM01 for learning material one. So it depends upon you. Okay, so this what I'm using right now is just for demo purposes. Then for here, description, and then I can also create, no? I can create a document, no, as a learning material here. I can create a slide, okay, and then the slide will be created here, and it will open a new tab, and you can start creating your slides here, no, sample slides. So that. Sample slide. So if you're familiar with Google Slides, I mean if you're familiar um, with um, PowerPoint, okay, definitely you can utilize the Google Slides, no, because their functionality or how Google Slides work is very similar to to our PowerPoint. But what's my favorite, no, my favorite feature in Google Slide is this. First, let me open YouTube first. Okay, let me open a YouTube channel. I'll just choose. I'll just choose any video from my channel. Okay, so I'll choose this one. For example, I want to post this video in my classroom. So I will just copy the link. All right, and then after that, I'll go back to my slide, and I'll just create a new slide with this one here. And from here, I can click insert video, and then I will select by URL. All right. Now, please take note in the Google slide, you can insert videos from YouTube, from YouTube URL, and from your Google Drive. No? So for this one here, I will select by URL, and I will paste the link here. So I already have this one. I'll click select. So I'll have this option here. Okay. So I can rename this one here, Google Classroom. Sorry, like so. Now this is my favorite feature about using Google Slides. Now if I will click the video, kindly focus here in the video playback. Now from here, you can see that there is start at and end at. And if, for example, this is useful, if, for example, you have a video that has a duration of 35 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours, but you want to select a particular minute or a particular segment of that video, wherein that if the student will play the video, it will go immediately to that particular time and will end on a particular time that you want them to end. So with this feature, the video playback of Google Slides, you can actually do that. So for example here, since this is a 35-minute video, for example, I want my students to start watching it in, what's this, in 15 minutes, all right? And then would end somewhere in 20 minutes, okay? So we can actually set that here in 20 minutes. So we can actually set that here in our Google slide, so that when we click this one here, yeah, it's a little bit faster. Why is it fast? Okay. So that's how you can reorder our topics, no? If, for example, we want to rearrange them, no? That's how you. By the way, that the chipmunk sound is actually part of the video. Sorry. So as you have seen, when I played the video, it will immediately start at 15. Okay, at 15 minutes and would end at 20 minutes. So I usually use this feature whenever I create a video tutorial for my students or for our e-class, no, in Adzu. So I just get a particular segment of that video and set the time, no, so that when the students or the teachers would watch that, it will immediately go to that particular segment. So you can do something like that with Google Slide. So after doing that, all you have to do is just to close it. That's what's also nice about working with Google Workspace, because it will automatically update. No, so from here, I will just choose a topic. Let's say, for example, I'll place this under addition, and then I can post this one. Oh, I think where is there? Learning documents, so sample slides, and we have that. Okay, so that's how you can create a what's this? You can create learning material straight from the Google Classroom with Google Slides, no? And that goes the same in creating. See, as you have seen, it goes immediately to 15 and it will end somewhere in after 20 minutes, no? So like that. So that's how you can create learning materials, no, in Google Classroom. And this time now, let's try creating assignment or assessment, no? How to assess our students. So let's try first with assignment. Okay. So let me click assignment here. So for the assignment, what's nice about this one here is that you can ask your students to upload or submit their works in Google Classroom, depending on, and you can even set it to a particular time, no, any time of the day. So for example, here to create an assignment, I can type AS01 for assignment. Then I will just type a demo here. Now, when we create an assignment, it is very important, no? This is I learned this one also from Ma'am Anita. It is very important that your instruction are complete. For example, one of the important instruction that should be included in our assignment is that the expected output. Okay, expected output from them. Like for example, are you expecting a PDF file? Are you expecting a doc file? Or are you expecting a video format? All right. So it's important that you that's part of your instruction. I'm sure you know that. Um, I'm sure you already know that, no? But this is a reminder lang, no? Na important that it's really important that the students will know what to submit, no? The actual output, and then so that they will know what particular tools to use. And then another one is that we should also include a rubric for scoring. All right, rubric for scoring is important so that the students will know how they can get a perfect score. No, so that's also important. And next, although we can set a deadline here, but it's also important. No, at least in my practice, I always include the deadline. I include the deadline in the instructions part so that the students, upon reading the instruction, they also know when is the deadline. So this is just some of the I believe that some of the important details that should be part of the instruction. The expected output, the rubric for scoring, so that they know what to submit, what tools that they can utilize, and then how they can get a perfect score, and of course the deadline, no, when they should submit the deadline. And then for the points, um, you can set it to 50, you can set it to 100. It's up to you. For the deadline, you can set it to the deadline. Okay, so for example, 29, you can even type the time. So you can include 11:59 in the evening if you want. You can have it 12 p.m., noon time, or it's up to you, whichever is appropriate. And then, of course, you set a topic. Now, it's really important that you assign this one to a topic, which is I'll choose the activities here. And after that, you can click um, assign, okay, so that uh, it will be created here. All right. So that's how you create what's this? That's how you can create activities in Google Classroom. And you can see how many students have turned in their assignment, and you can see how many students that were assigned to this assignment. So let me do another one. Same thing with assignment. So this, for example, this is AS02. Again, let me put a demo, and then instruction. Okay, instruction, output, deadline, and then we have the scoring. Now, aside from this one here, no, let's say for example, I set it to 30 points. And then what's nice about this one here is that you can assign a particular assignment to a specific students only. Okay, so for example, you want to set you don't this particular assignment is only intended for those students who were late, or probably who missed some of the assignments. No, so you can actually uncheck this one, all students, and then you can look for that particular student that this assignment is intended for. So for example, Mamawi missed an assignment, and this particular assignment is will help her catch up in the class. Then I can assign it to her, and then to, for example, Ma'am Leia, okay, and then for example, for Teacher Rod, no. So here, once you check a particular student, then this assignment will be only assigned to them. Then after that, you just click assign, and you will be able to see that ano, where is that? Sorry, I failed to. let me add this one at top. For example, June 26. There. So June 26, so AS02 demo. So here, as you can see, only 3 were assigned for this one, and the number of turn-ins. No, so that's how you can assign a particular assignment to our students. No, for a particular student. Now, as you have seen, let me create another one. For example, AS03 demo 3. Uh, so instructions. And then as you can see here, yes, this one, you can see here rubrics, right? You can click here, you can click rubric, and you can actually create a rubric here, no? So this is the rubric is best used for example, for assignments that are project based, no? Siguro mga for poster related projects, videos, or anything that you think is appropriate. The rubric is appropriate, so you can utilize that feature, no? So for example here, criterion title, you can probably type here grammar. Later teachers, you can explore this one, no? So that you can check how this works. So criterion, grammar, and description. Was this perfect grammar? This is just an example. So let me add points here, and then we can level title. So for example, let's say excellent. Okay. And then you can add a description here. Description. Okay, description for excellent. Something like this. And you can add another one. So very good. This is just an example, teachers. So this is another description of the for the very good criteria. And until such time, you'll be able to complete the other other points here. No, so let me just add the point. Let's say, for example, 1. Then add criteria. So here, once you're done, okay, once you're done doing this, let me add another one. Criterion 2, the description of the criterion. You can further explore this one later, teachers, no? So that you can check how you can utilize this one. For me, I utilize the rubrics, I think once or twice only for a particular class. No, it's just for an experiment. So that's why you can explore this one later. So for a title, for example, excellent again, and then description. Okay. Then after that, once you're done doing this, no, after you have after doing the scoring or setting up this one, you can click save. And then once you have saved the rubrics, you'll be able to see this one here, and the students can also check this out. How are they going to be rated? And then after that, you can click assign. And then it will be available already to your for your students. Now, if you're going to look at the stream tab, you'll be able to see all the recent posts. Okay, they're all the recent posts by the teachers, or at least the recent posts of the students, no, within that classroom. So with this one, with the stream, you can check ano ba yung what are the latest updates or the latest posts by our our teachers and our classmates. Okay, so that's for the classwork, no. Now this time, teachers, let me this time let's create a quiz assignment. So for the quiz assignment, this is where the Google Forms comes in. Okay, before the Google Forms is the Google form was intended for research purposes only, for survey questions. But later, it was later improved as they added a feature wherein you can convert your Google Forms into quizzes. Okay, so how do we do that? But first, let's set up this one here. So for example, this is Q1 or quiz 1. You can give the instructions here. And then from here, you can set the due date. Okay, until when can they take the exam? All right. So for example, that's the time that I want them to take the exam, and then for example, uh, the the grades is around the total score is around 50, and then we assign them. We assign the topic to learning to activities, and then we can click the blank quiz. Now, once we click the blank quiz, it will lead us to the Google Forms. Okay, it will lead us to the Google Forms. So if you're very familiar, okay, kindly type yes, all right, in our chat box if you are familiar or you have been using the Google Forms already. Okay, kindly type yes if you have been utilizing Google Forms already. All right. Oh, that's good. So a lot of you are already very familiar with the Google Forms, no? So from here, okay. So you can even rename this one, no, as Q1, and then you can even place the date of the assignment. I mean the date of your examination, and then from there, you can give you can also rename this one here. So again, it's important also that when you do your quizzes in the Google Forms, it's also important that you already have your set of questions. No, so I'm sure you are already familiar with this one here. The type of questions, like for example, if you choose multiple choice, so answer 1, answer 2, and answer 3. Okay. So for example here, if this is your, after setting up the question, all you have to do is just to click answer key. And you can set a particular score for that particular question. And then you can check, no? You can check all the right questions, all right? Or I mean all the right answers. Of course, you just uncheck if you if that's not the correct answer, just click uncheck, no? So you have to make sure that you check all the correct answers or correct choices, then set the points, and then you click done. What I do is I no longer click this one add question, but I just usually duplicate it and then change the questions, and probably, and if that's not the type of question I want to use, I can just simply click what's this, linear scale or checkbox or drop downs, whichever works for you, and then you can click answer 1, then answer 2, answer 3. Okay, then answer key. You can select this one, then click done. And until such time you're able to finish all the test questions. As you can see, there's a summary of the total points here at the upper right. You'll be able to see that, and then of course the responses. Now, I'm sure you're very familiar with designing your Google Forms, no? Especially if you're teaching the grade school students, no? It's important that you also somehow design your you add design to your Google Forms so that they will like the aesthetics of your Google form, no? So that, for example, I choose this one, insert there, and then I'll select preview there. So the exam is already ready. Now, please take note, teachers, that um, one of the there are, of course, like for the Google Forms, probably some of you are asking the what if can we set question can we set a time exam, no? Can we set time exam for our Google Forms? Yes, we can do that, but there's a add-on for that. No, we need to uh, uh, install an extension in our Google Form so that we can set the questions having a timer. No, so um, I'm not I'm not very sure with the name of that add-on or extension, but there is an extension for Google Forms that will allow us to give a particular exam on a particular time. Okay, or it will automatically end the exam on a particular time. Now, some tips, no, some tips. One of the perks of utilizing our LMS for exam is that it helps us um, quicken, no? Parang it speeds up our checking purposes, no? Checking purposes of our exams, no? After the students have taken the exam, you can already what's this? You can already have their scores. So if you want to have that kind of uh, advantage, you can do away with the essays, no, essay questions. But that again, that depends upon you. But if essay is important part of your examination as one of the exam type, please do so. No, um, uh, please um, please make it part of your exam. But for me, I don't usually add essays because kansya para so that uh, automatically I'll have the scores, no. Now, aside from having Google Forms as your assessment, you can also utilize other features or other ways to assess your students, no. You can use oral examination or oral interview or output based, no. So this is just one of the possible ways for you to assess the learnings of your students. Okay, so that's for the Google Forms and for the Google Classroom. No? After that, once you're ready, same thing. If you wanna assign this particular exam to a particular student, you can do the same thing, and then you can just click assign. And then after that, the what's this? The exam will be ready for use. No, so with that, you can already do the what's this? The engagement with your students. The students can already check the learning materials that you have uploaded. The students can already take the activities, no, and assignments that you have assigned to them, no. So that depends upon your design, how you want it to um, how you want it to be in our Google Classroom. So again, so those are the, if you want to see all the posts, you can just go to the stream, and then for the people, that's where you can view all your students, and for the grades. So here, these are the um, students to grade, no, or the activities that you need to grade. As you can see here, for AS02, some of the students have not assigned, meaning this assignment is not assigned to you. So you can do the scoring, okay? So you can check if there are outputs here. All right, so that's how you can utilize Google Classroom and Google Forms for your classes, no? And at least this is how I utilize, no, the Google Classroom and Google Forms for my classes. For me, I utilize the Google Classroom for my webinars. No, I utilized this one when I taught one of the schools. No, here in Zamboanga, I utilized the Google Classroom We also utilize this one, the Google form, no, the Google form. I also utilize that one for giving assignments for my students in the Sunday school, no, in the church. So it's up to you how you can utilize these tools for your learners. All right. And with that, let's have our learning anchor this time. Okay. Or if you have, what have you learned so far? Or if you have questions, you can type that in our chat box. All right. So again, it's time for our learning anchor. Kindly type in our chat box. What have you learned so far in our demo part? Okay. Yeah, Ma'am Leia, have you any learning anchors from you, Ma'am Leia?
Um, I have learned a lot actually, sir. Parang
Overwhelmed
bombarded
you ba?
ako. Kasi I do not use Google Classroom. I use Zoom. And then when students turn in their assignments, I use e-class. So siguro this is a very good tool for me to explore and also for my students to use in the future. Baka next sem gamitin ko. Thank you,
Mm,
sir.
okay. The Google Classroom. Yes. Actually, very fun din ang Google Classroom, no? The Google Classroom can be utilized for any type of learnings. Like for example, just what I shared earlier, Ma'am Leia, you can utilize the Google Classroom for your webinars. No, for example, if you're conducting webinars, no, to your to other schools, you can provide a Google Classroom wherein all of the participants can join that, and then you can upload all your learning materials or yung mga resources, no, in that Google Classroom, and they can just check it out, no, after the session. So you can use that in your webinars as well.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we have responses here, sir. So from Ma'am Junevi or Junvi, she learned about the features of Google Classroom. Medyo madami-dami yun sa sana lahat yun na-absorb. From Ma'am Mitch, she learned how to use Google Classroom. There are a lot of features that we can explore more. Correct. I agree with that, Ma'am Mitch. And Ma'am Maui said, I used Google Classroom before but was not able to set a quiz using Google Form. That's something I would like to try sometime. Then Ma'am Aurora, she said, I intend to use Google Classroom this coming semester. I appreciated the Google Slides, Google Forms, and other features. From Ma'am Eliza
Wow.
naman, yes, Google Classroom usage and how to assess it at its best. Ah, bongga.
Yes.
From Ma'am Joy, I learned a lot. Communicate digitally with students who may be hesitant to talk. Ayan. That,
Yes. Um, Again, thank you very much, teachers, no, for your learning anchors. And what I just shared to you are just of the things that this is how I do it. No, it's how I utilize the Google Classroom. Probably some of you are familiar with the Google Classroom already. Probably you have some other techniques, so you can add that. No, what you have learned from this session, you can also add that to your options, no, options sa kaninyo, sa how you utilize the Google Classroom. Okay, and now teachers, no, thank you very much again for what's this for your sharing. Now this time po this time, let's have an application, no. Ma'am Leia, are the is the breakout room ready?
yes, sir. How many groups do we have to create, sir?
Probably four per group, maybe,
Okay.
or
So,
even five may do so.
so we have 4 breakout rooms ready, sir.
All right, that's great. Okay, so let me just share this screen again.
And the other and Miss Genevieve will also share some of her thoughts as well. So our difficulties were that the some struggles would be the internet connection, like how to create also the 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 class, and also we also struggled in terms of the content. manipulating the classroom was okay, but putting in the content was the difficulty. So I think we should be ready with the content before creating the classroom itself there. And I think Miss Genevieve would like to share also some of her thoughts.
Hi, sir. Hi, everyone. So, Junebi here. So, for our difficulties, maybe if you're a first-time teacher who is using the Google Classroom, so you will have some advantages or disadvantages, especially if you are going to upload. So, thank you very much for this webinar or this seminar. So, I have now an idea on what are the process or on how we are going to use this. So, thank you very much, sir. So, with that, even though you are encountering difficulties in preparing some materials, so with this seminar, it is very useful. It teaching me on how to do it. Thank you, sir. That's all po.
Thank you very much, group number three, no, for that sharing, and I'm really happy that you find it useful, and I would really agree that it's the internet connection is really one of the challenges. No, I think all of us are experiencing challenges in one way or another with our internet connection, and that is why as a teacher, we should always have options, no, on how we can help our students maintain the learning experience. The Google Classroom and the other learning management system is just one of the many possible options, no, for our students to learn from us or to learn from our subject. And um, if this that is why I told you that is why in our first part, no, the was this the Google Classroom is limited, no, to the students context as well. So it will not work for the for us, no, sa classroom natin. Then we can always look for possible alternative. But yes, at the same time, Google Classroom is very useful, but at the same time, it can be challenging for some of our students and even for us. No? So ayan, thank you very much, group number three, and let's give group number three a virtual clap. Ayan. Okay, thank you very much. And now let's proceed to the second presenter, which is group number one. Yan, group number one, pasok. Yan, okay.
Okay, good morning po. I'm Maureen Gallardo, and with me are Ma'am Ning Gonzalez, Sir Jean, and Sir Ricky. So far, so this is what we did. No, we tried to create two topics for our course, Introduction to Spirituality and Ignatian Spirituality. Then we tried to put some different materials, like we have there a material which is linked to a website. And also the My Self Understanding is a material that is made using Google Docs, and the assignment. Okay, so that's what those are the things that we tried. In the assignment, we tried to set the rubrics and yun. Ay, so yun. Okay, and the deadline. Now so far for 25 minutes, those are the things that we were able to come up with. Now for the insights, for the difficulties, I think based on on our group experience when we did it, I was the one telling Ma'am Ning what to do, and it was Ma'am Ning who was manipulating the page. So far in terms of the difficulties, I think it was easy, maybe because the interface was easy, and simple. So all we did was just look at the items that were on the settings and just try to find out what is there. And for learning insights and how you will apply it. For myself, since our school already has a default LMS, maybe this platform will give me an option to use, just like what just like Sir Romeo, for seminars that involves other participants, or for any group activities with your peers, or small groups. Now for Ma'am Ming would like to also share that for her, she needs to plan the lessons, activities, and materials, so that it will be faster when you set up your Google Classroom. So once you already have the materials and you already know what to do in class, then I think that that will make it more easier. So yun po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Maui and group number one. Yeah, indeed, I super agree with you with your sharing, especially with the interface part of the Google Classroom. And I think you would agree with me when I say that all of the Google Workspace tools are very easy to use because of the super easy, super easy um, interface, no, very easy to understand. And of course, also again, it came out again. The learning plan, no, should be ready, or the syllabus, our guide should be ready before we plot our Google Classroom, no, or before we plot the lessons, the materials uh, in our learning management system. Ma'am Maui, you are raising your hand. Yeah, you have additional.
Yes, I would like to also state the insights of my group mates. So according to Sir Jean, Google Classroom is a useful tool for creating assessment tools and modules for
Yes.
students. It makes this easily accessible, since you can have it all in one place. Although there are difficulties in terms of internet connection and familiarizing with the tools in the Google Classroom. And I think Sir Ricky also would like to say something. Sir Ricky, meron po
Hey,
ba?
Sir Rick.
Yes po, ma'am. Can you hear me po?
Yes, Sir
Yes.
Rick. Hello.
Okay. I would just like to share, no, I'd like to put myself, no, in the shoes of my students, especially in the SUKS public school.
Mm-mm.
I experience, I think my problema, it's a big problem because most of my students are, I think they have the difficulty in the internet connection. That's why we are using this Google Classroom, because it's free, and we've been using this for, I think, almost more than 1 year already. And my difficulty is really on the part of how to accomplish that, my students know how to accomplish the task, because some of my students are working,
Oh.
and the what is useless on the part of the Google Classroom is, I think, you have to apply our leniency here. So the time you put in the Google Classroom, I think sometimes it's useless. So we have to extend it, and then we have to be considerate also in the time, because most of our students, they did their task right after their work,
Mm-mm.
considering they are also working, and some of them also are, 98% of them are using Android. That's why I'm using Android right now in attending this webinar. I'd like to put myself how my students experience the difficulty, really. So that is all.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sir Ricky, for that sharing. No, let me just share quickly the mismo framework that I learned in one of our webinars. In the mismo framework, we have that letter S, which stands for student context, and the letter O stands for options and alternative. And I agree with Sir Ricky when he said that leniency is one of the things that we have to practice, especially in this time of pandemic, especially when we have our online sessions, no, or this type of modality. Simply because letter S, the student context, every student has their own they have their own context, and of course, we have to check if what we give to them or what we provide them will help them, no, still learn something from us in spite of the context or the student context that they have. And of course, the letter O, the options. Um, i- the Google Classroom is one of our options in providing our students the learning materials. And good if the students still have internet, even if it's data, still it's good. But how about the other students that does not have any device or does not have any access to the internet connection. That is one of the biggest problems, no, that we experience and is still experiencing now. And I think that is why other schools, no, the DepEd and other private schools have resulted or have used the modules, no, the printed handouts, wherein the teachers are delivering these modules or the printed handouts straight to the students so that they can still continue learning. And this is giving them more options, no, on their learning. And thank you, Sir Ricky, for sharing that thought to us. No? And yeah, I'm also excited to see that offline version of the Google Classroom. No? And we hope that it will be implemented really soon. And thank you, Group One, for that sharing. And let's please give Group One a virtual clap. Right, thank you very much. Okay. And now let's go to the third presenter, group number 4. Ayan. And I think I have a familiar, I think I know one of them, Miss Jean. Ma'am Jean, my teacher.
It's your group.
Hi, Ma'am.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Mine is very simple because right now I'm in the kindergarten department, so we're not like we're not using Google Classroom. We are using Zoom like directly. Okay, but I'm interested. Okay, so our difficulties, number one, I think the internet connection, and then what topic to choose, and also the materials to share and the resources. So I believe that before we create or upload anything, number one is preparation of the materials to be uploaded, to be there in the Google Classroom. So again, number one, the resources. Okay, so what video and also what article to share. So I think that's number one that we need to prepare. And also one of the difficulties, the internet connection, because sometimes there's no internet or sometimes it's like going up and down. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Maybe my teammate from Vietnam can share. Hello? Okay, anyway, so we choose the article. So she made this one. How to use article, quiz 1. Yes, so this is her screen. So by the way, our team's name is Monkey's Team. So she's sharing our team Google Classroom. So she made this. Thank you so much. Okay. And what else? Again, going back, number one, the resources. We need to prepare all videos, articles. Okay. And number 2, okay, the connection. So I'm very excited about this. He said we can upload even it's like offline. I'm very excited of that. Okay. So I think that's it. If anyone from my group likes to share, anyone from my group. By the way, we are like we are now from different places. Okay, so maybe someone from Vietnam can share difficulties she encountered.
I think
Yeah.
there.
Yes. Do you have a question? That's
I think your friends, mom, from group number 4 are a little bit shy, no?
yeah, she's sharing. This is Monkey's team from Vietnam. Okay. But I mean, this is her screen. Okay. So yeah, that's it. That's so we created the Monkey's team. So this is the classroom and then the topic. So that's decided. Yeah. Okay.
You know what, Mom Jean, no, what's also interesting for me, I actually, this is a question also for me. Parang, how can we utilize Google Classroom in the kindergarten? No? Because these are kids, and usually, uh, since I think these are kids, so these are more for videos, no? So it's really, I think it's a good thing for us to also explore, uh, or something to think about how can we further utilize Google Classroom or any learning management for our kindergarten students, no? So I think that's something interesting to know. By the way, Ma'am Jean, no, in the chat box, I placed a link linking to the Google for Education, Google Classroom tutorials. I think there are some videos there talking about how they were able to utilize the Google Classroom for kindergarten students. But these are more on the I think more on the parent side, how they utilize the Google Classroom communicating with the parents. I hope this you will find this useful, or you can utilize this one in your class as well.
Yes, because I think because they are still kids, they could not even like type their password
Right,
themselves. Yeah.
right. They need their parents to guide them.
Yes, it's the parents' work.
Correct, correct. Nice to see you again, Ma'am Jean. Nice to hear from you again. Ma'am Jean was my teacher in college. And thank you very
Really?
yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, po, Ma'am Jean, for molding me.
Kindergarten now, like I think 4 years already. So we don't use Google, but our elementary and high school level, because we're K-12, so they use like Google Classroom. But I'm very interested because we don't know. They might move me to another department, so it's okay. Bring it on.
Right. Rock and roll, ma'am. All right. Thank you very much, Ma'am Jean and group number 4. No? And let's give them a virtual clap. Okay. And now this time, let's go for the last presenter, but not the least. All right. Group number 2. Go ahead. Group number 2.
Yes, hello. So today we will also be presenting our output of our group, and I'll be sharing the screen with you. And here, so this is our classroom that we did. And since I do have some material, so we decided to just use up this subject as for our classroom. So since I'm teaching on technical drawing, so we did this classroom for such students. And the first that we encountered difficulty was on how to create the classroom, getting it started. But nonetheless, in as soon as we were able to figure out how to create the classroom, we already started to get the hang of it. And so here we were able to create a topic. From the topic that we've created, we as well uploaded a material. So the material that was uploaded was a learning material, a module. Yeah, and we as well included an instruction about the module, just the title of the module. And yeah, and Ma'am Elisa is one of our students. Now, some insights regarding the Google Classroom is that actually I do use Facebook in dealing with my students. for the past semester. But I think that the Google Classroom, if in case no, they could provide us with an offline feature on this will really help our students a lot. It's hard to select the appropriate platform for our students. For me, based on my experience, I'm also teaching in a public school, and a lot of our students are still having those low end type of phones and with a very limited memory capacity. So for example, even I do prefer to use Facebook. There are still some students that their phone could only get the application for Facebook Lite. Then I also tried for Zoom. Their phones are also not capable for it. So I hope that no getting to learn about the Google Classroom, I think this will add no an additional tool no or repertoire for teachers on how to combat no in the new normal in the new learning settings for our students. And I think no this coming semester we will try to be as well um giving this out or trying this out to our students. And no, I think sir that's all from our group.
Yeah. Eh, thank you very much po, sir, no? And I applaud you, sir, for having options, no? I applaud all of you teachers for, being creative in delivering your teachings or learning materials to our students. And that's true, sir, no? We can, right now, even Facebook or even social media can already be utilized for our education, no, there's actually social learning type of group, no, that we can utilize for as an alternative learning management system in Facebook. Um, by any chance, sir, do you use the quiz feature of Facebook group in your classes?
No sir, I do still use the Google Forms
Oh,
and
okay.
upload it on there. I create, yes, I do create the page for each of my class.
Mm-mm.
Um, I do prefer no starting no from the new normal that
Mm-mm.
we had. I thought of using Facebook since I'm handling college students. No, I thought that they are all into social media,
Mm-mm.
so I thought that it could really keep them interested and
Yeah.
give them a much better use of social media as their learning experience as compared
Correct.
to doing other stuff.
Mm-mm.
So the turnout was good. However, I think the problems that I've encountered was the same thing. Some students, or not most of the students, are working and dealing with their assignments,
Yeah.
having do diligently do their performance outputs, those kind of stuff.
Correct. Yes, I agree, sir. No, still, what's this? Probably some of them or some of them are having difficulties because of the limitations of their devices, no, and probably sometimes, especially right now, the mental health. Sometimes they lose motivation to even do their assignments, no. Ayan, but
Yes,
what's
sir.
nice about your yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
I just would like to add up, sir, no, with regards also, again, going back to the use of the Google Classroom, I
Mm-mm.
think it will be quite easier for us teachers to um, do our classrooms with this kind of platform if and only if we have already prepared our materials
Yes.
ahead of
Yes.
time. So once
Correct.
we already have it stored in our computers, perhaps,
Mm-mm.
it will be quite very easy for us just to upload, just to organize it things in our classroom. it will be quite easier for us.
Correct. And I agree, sir, no. In fact, in one of our webinars, no, in Ateneo, shared by Ma'am Maui, uh, it's really important for us to have planning, no, before we sit down in front of our computers. It's important to plan first, so that when we sit down and we're in front of the computer, it will be easier for us, no, to set up our Google Classroom or whatever LMS that we are using. Plan first before we set it up, so that again, it will be easy for us. Thank you very much, sir, and group number two for that sharing. Let's give group number two a virtual clap. Thank you very much. And now let's proceed for the last. No, this is the last. We're almost ending the last one. Let's have our last learning anchor, teachers. No? So kindly type in our chat box your learning. Okay, your learning anchor, no, for the entire session, from the beginning of our session up to your group setting is through the sharing. What have you learned so far? No, what have you learned from our session this morning? Kindly type in our chat box your learning anchors. And while you're typing, Ma'am Leia, can you share to us your learning anchors, no, all throughout our session this morning?
What I learned really, sir, is the functions of Google Classroom. Yun lang, yung functionality niya and its usability. How and when to use it. Yun yung when to properly use it. So
Correct.
yun. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have some here from Sir Ricky. Sabi niya before you ask for the learning anchor, he already said there's a YouTube tutorial about Facebook as a learning management system.
Yes.
So it's very helpful or useful for teachers in the public school. So you might want to check that out also. Okay. So from Maui, she said, it is great that we have these free platforms that we could use to manage our online classes. And then from Mitch, the session is very helpful, especially a lot of teachers are using online platform. Thank you, sir, and for your team. And then from Melinda, you just really need to explore the platform because it can be helpful in our classes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, Ma'am Leia, no, and Ma'am Mel. There are a lot more digital tools, no, available online aside from the Google Classroom. We have the other LMS that we can also utilize. Aside from the learning management system, we also have other applications such as Kahoot, such as quizzes. All of this, no, there are a lot of digital tools that we can utilize for our classes for engagement, and all we have to do is just to explore it and try to utilize it in our classes. No, thank you very much, po participants, for your active participation and for your for your learning anchors. So your learning anchors also give us realizations, especially for the emphasizing on the planning first before we set up the classroom, and then also learning from that there are other platforms, even the social media platforms can be utilized for our learning management system. And with that, we can also realize that there are a lot of tools available, no? But let's always remember, as a teacher, let's always choose the best learning material that will enhance the learning experience of our students, because that's the most important experience that our students should have in our classes. No, in other words, dear teachers, the best learning material will enhance the learning experience. And thank you very much for joining. Please don't forget to subscribe and follow for future webinars. The Facebook page of School of Education, and of course, in my channel, the EdTech Explorer. And again, this free webinar is in dedication to our beloved teacher, mother, Mama Nita. We love you, Ma'am Anits. Thank you very much. And this is Romeo. Thank you for your active participation. Maraming salamat po. Ma'am Leia?
Yes, okay. Thank you din po, Sir Roms. Can we give Sir Romeo a virtual round of applause for that very wonderful learning experience this morning?